We're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second ever pre-show. This time for All Out. My name's Innes, but you're not here for me. Let's be honest. You're here for the one, the only Kenny McIntosh. Kenny, how you doing?
I'm good. I mean, there was really no sort of introduction there that we're actually going to be doing this. You just went, "Oh, we're live," and then here we are.
Exactly. This is the professionalism of Twitch. This is just we're in there. Bang. That's us.
That's true. In there, and I've got a wee vodka. You know.
Lovely.
It's 6 p.m. And then my poor friend Chris, who is actually in the same house. I think he's watching this, which is quite creepy. But like, I've not seen him since pre-COVID, and now this is the first time he's finally been able to come up to Glasgow to see us. And I was like, I need to go on Twitch for an hour. So just entertain yourselves. But then I've got Twitch on the Apple TV because obviously I keep tabs on all of you.
Of course.
But in a good way. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about All Out. I feel like there's not the dread of WWE pay-per-views.
Oh God, I know. SummerSlam. But I mean, it can't get much worse than SummerSlam. Surely.
Well, yeah, no, it can't.
This is true.
It can't. And we know what? Yeah, it can't. unless Daniel Bryan turns up and turns heel immediately.
He goes back to the Eco Warrior thing. Oh God.
I mean, he would still be more likable than Kenny Omega. So
true. This is true. Before we dive into the card and all that, I guess I should mention we are taking viewer questions throughout the show. So if you want to get your questions in, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can donate at least £3. There's a little donation button below the window. You donate it through that. You can also cheer with 300 bits. There's a little diamond icon in the chat. This is just flying over Kenny's head. 300 bits for that.
I'm being the the deaf person who does the music videos. I predict a riot. I'm doing that for whatever you're saying.
There is the highlight my message channel points reward, which gets you, which costs 1,500 points. If you've been watching the streams a lot, then you should have some of them built up. There's a lovely illustration, and you can also subscribe to the channel. If we've got any time left and we still have time for questions, we will take questions from subscribers in the chat.
I don't have anything for subscribe.
No.
Can't think of anything.
Oh, also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel before, for the month of September, Twitch are offering 20% off for anyone who hasn't subscribed. So I believe normal subscription is like $3.99. Now it's down to like $3.20. So if you give it a shot, we've got some cool rewards coming, and we'd appreciate the support of the channel. But we are not here to talk about Twitch stuff. We are here to talk about All Out. We have 10 matches on the card, which seems a lot. Have a donation already. 20 bits there from the Wooster with no message. Thank you for the 20 bits there.
Thank you, Andy. It's lovely to hear from you. Andy, who unfortunately is from Birmingham, which is the worst performing Inside the Ropes live set. Since he's donated, I'll just tell this story because it's harrowing. Like this is so we did the Awesome Kong tour.
Right.
And we did, and she was great. She was so funny. And we did Manchester, Glasgow, all these places, and we went to Birmingham.
Right.
Do you know how many people came to the show that were not crew or talent?
It can't have been worse than Sunny. Like,
so Sunny was 48 people.
Okay. 102.
9.
You're joking. 9.
9
really?
people. 9 people.
Amazing.
And 2 of them were Andy and fucking Double A, who was obviously trying to get in there. And then he turned. Asad Abbas turned around to me at the end. He went, "You're never going to come back to Birmingham, are you?"
the dread.
It's doubtful. But I'm glad that Andy was able to share in my pay, because it was just like, what the fuck's the point? Like, I've had busier appointments at the doctor. Do you know what I mean? Like, grim. So, but Birmingham, great town. Fuck them.
Is there another little tour that's coming up that you might want to mention?
Well, Big Show, formerly Big Show, no more BS. He's not Big Show anymore. I need to stop saying Big Show.
But it's our big show since COVID, so we can get away with that.
Our first big show since COVID. The problem was that the person who came up with the moniker, our first big show since COVID, I can't really publicly acknowledge right now. So they cannot get the proper credit they are due. But maybe if they just learned how to use Twitter, they would not have to be silenced the way that they have. But Paul White's coming. It's going to be very exciting. October 17th through 19th. We're going to be in London, Manchester, Glasgow. I guess I can say this, actually. I've not said it anywhere else, but I actually interviewed him this week for the magazine.
Oh, right, okay.
For issue 13, and he was a riot. He was so funny, and I think people are going to really like him on stage. He constantly brought up references to all the heel and face turns that he ever had. I think he said more heel and face turns than a NASCAR driver has turned left. So I think he's going to be banner. I really want to do some shots with Paul White.
Could you imagine? How drunk would he get? Because surely being the taller means that he has more resistance to that. You'd think.
You'd think so. But then I would start doing the thing where I'd be like, hey, and I would drink it and then, get him to go maybe 10 ahead. And but that's the plan. Shots with Paul White. Coming soon to ITR Twitch.
Before we get into the card, there was a subscription whilst we were having a little chat there from someone, I don't know if you know him, Liam A. Stewart. I don't know. If you could bring in a big sexy Jim Cornette into AEW to manage any talent, who and why?
I mean, I think Jim Cornette as a manager in AEW would be amazing, but
he's kind of like that Dan Lambert, because I think that's what Dan Lambert's kind of basing it off of, just calling people boomers and stuff. Oh
yeah, 100%. But like, I think who would be the best person for him to manage? It would need to be something. It would either be, well, maybe FTR.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, FTR.
If the Young Bucks allowed a tag division to happen around, that's up to them. Or singles. I mean, MJF doesn't need him.
No, MJF can talk on his own.
That's a good question. Do you know, maybe somebody like Wardlow? Like if Wardlow was on his own. And
maybe someone in like Team Taz when they split them all up, like Powerhouse Hobbs or Cage. Someone bigger like that.
But yeah, just and have him. I mean, Jim Cornette leading people to just launch the Young Bucks off like building walls. I mean, that's going to get you to 2 million viewers a week.
And the fans would hate him. Absolutely hate him. You could rile that up. It'd be great.
I actually did when I spoke to him. When did I speak to him? About 6 months ago, and we were chatting about some other stuff, and then I was like, could you imagine if you did something like that? And he went, they couldn't handle me. They could not handle. And I don't think they could. I think they. And I get it. Look, if somebody was saying that I was like fucking atrocious and an embarrassment to profession, then I probably wouldn't be like in a rush to hire them. Although Kenny Olivier is very funny as a name.
Aye.
That is funny. But yeah, I would love Cornette and AEW. Well, if it's funny, because Liam Stewart, actually, he, like many, hated Cornette. And then when he started covering him more, he's just sort of become a spiritual successor.
He's been converted. What does he call it? The Cult of Cornette? Is that the
Cult
name?
Of Cornette.
He's
you can leave a little... you can actually get a little card saying, member of Cult of Cornette.
Oh, can you? I've been so tempted to get him a cameo from Cornette, but he charges like $150. But you never know. Maybe later in the year.
I've got one of Cornette's t-shirts that when we filmed the documentary that's never going to be released because What Culture would never pay me for it. He said, well, do you want a t-shirt? So I chose Thank You, Fuck You, Bye. And it's really comfy, but then I forget sometimes. So I'll go to the gym wearing this t-shirt, and sometimes people in the street will be like, and I'll forget. And then I'm like, and because like so it's like thank you, and then the fuck you bit's here. So I have to kind of walk like this. Like I've like had a nip slip or something to try
like
and
a lady of the night or
masquerade
something.
the fuck.
What an intro into the All-In card. I don't think we're getting much better than that. On the buy-in, originally was the Women's Casino Battle Royal, but was obviously moved due to Pac versus Andrade being moved. It is now a 10-man tag. Best friends consisting of Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta, teaming with Jurassic Express's Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against the Hardy Family Office. Matt Hardy. I'm going to call them Hardy
Family Office.
Yeah, we're calling them that from now on. Matt Hardy, Private Party, and the Hybrid 2. Who have you got to win?
It's got to be the baby faces, right? It's got to be the baby faces too. You know, start of the night happy. Jurassic Express, they didn't quite make it into the. I mean, I actually would have preferred them in the tag match because it's. But
well, they had that really good one like 2 weeks ago in Dynamite, and they lost. So
yes.
I guess you could build off that.
But yeah, I think it'll be the baby faces getting the win, and Matt Hardy will probably have a fit. Did you see Matt Hardy this week running down to the ring on Dynamite? Like he was like, and it was like he was being propelled off of a really steep cliff. And he was
yeah.
When he was running down, and that was very funny. I don't know if that was intentional that he lost the ability to know how to run briefly, but it cracked me up.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the babyface have to get a win. I mean, it's kind of a last minute addition, but they do have the story behind it, and Hardy Family Office have kind of been thwarting best friends. So I feel like it's time for them to get a win. I don't really know what I can say. It'll be a good opening match for the buy-in, but ultimately I don't think it'll really have much stakes. Let's go to the Casino Battle Royal next, because interestingly, up until yesterday, every woman in it was announced, but then on Dark last night, they took out Julia Hart. So before we get into the match, we did talk about this before the show. Kenny, how many of the 20 competitors in this Casino Battle Royal can you name?
I mean, look, I'm here as a guest. I'm not here to be ambushed in this manner. I feel like you're trying to get me to... Do you know what? I can do this. I'll be able to do this, right? So, number one, and I'm going to butcher the name.
Okay, lovely.
There's the woman that Tony Khan put in because he was like, you were so good when you got beat. The jobber woman, Skylar Grey. What's her name?
Sky Blue.
Well, great.
Close
Sky
enough.
Blue. Good for you.
Close
What
enough.
name? Sky Blue, Julia Hart, who's now not in it, but it would have been, I guess it'll be Lana or Ruby Riott instead. Penelope Ford, Jade Cargill, Jamie Hayter.
Yep.
Rebel.
Yep.
Riho.
Nothing too bad. 8. There you go.
Emi Sakura. Is the other Japanese one? She sounds like Minoru Suzuki. Mio.
No, she's not. No.
She's not, okay.
There's Emi Sakura and there's someone else from Japan.
Who else from Japan?
The fact that you're forgetting her is says a lot about her state of affairs right now.
Hikaru Shida.
Yes. Who has not appeared on Dynamite at all since losing the women's title, which is a great sign.
Look, one women's match is enough. These women have had enough equality. That's a joke. Nyla Rose.
Yep.
How many, Matt?
12, I think.
12. Nine to go. Fuck me.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's obviously the mystery entrance, so 8 to go.
No, Statlander's not in it because she's facing Britt. Sadie Gibbs is gone, isn't she?
Yeah, she's gone. You did pretty well, to be fair, with 12. I'll let you off with 12.
No, I want to try and get to 15. If I get to 15, then I feel like I can give up. So,
cool.
Right. Women
there is some
AEW.
obscure ones here, I will warn you.
Is Vicky Guerrero in it?
No. Thankfully. No.
Red Velvet.
Red Velvet, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Kylan King.
Kylan King. Yes.
Is she in it?
Yes, she's in it.
We're at 14. One more. Layla Hirsch.
There you go. Yep.
There you go. Who the other 6?
So I'll run through because I haven't kept a good track enough on. So we got Really doing a great job here. Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole,
Thunder
take
Rosa,
on...
how did I miss her?
There's some ones you're going to kick yourself for. Thunder Rosa, The Bunny, Big Swole, take on...
The Bunny! Big Swole!
Tay Conte, Diamante,
Tay
Penelope
Conte
Ford, Red Velvet, Hikaru Shida, Emi Sakura, Jade Cargill.
So all the ones I missed are actual people who are on the show usually.
Yep. Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, Abaddon, Layla Hirsch. I don't blame you for missing Abaddon. Kylan King, Rebel,
It's
Jamie
Abaddon.
Hayter. Oh, it's Abaddon. It's spelled Abba. Abaddon. I don't know.
Abaddon.
Listen, she's on Dark. Who watches Dark? Jamie Hayter. True. Jamie Hayter, Anna J, Riho, Sky Blue, and a mystery opponent. I guess
sometimes I feel like when they say like there's 17 matches on Dark, that they feel like it's the same as like when in the gay world somebody goes, he's got a 10-inch dick, and it's not the same thing.
No.
Because like the last thing any of us want is a 17 match card. Now, like you want to go right 7 matches, okay, that's great, but 17,
no,
fuck me. I would love to see
2 hours because it's like a 2-hour show, but yeah.
So in terms of who I think might win, I would like to see Jade Cargill win, but I don't know if she is ready / they want to give it to her.
Well, she is in rank number 5, so I think either way she is going to get a title shot soon enough.
And then if it's not her, I mean, I think if the mystery person is Ruby Soho,
yeah, I think it has to be either her or Lana. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't think Lana is going to be in that spot, but I do think she will pop up later on the show.
But yeah, I think if Ruby's in it, she wins it. Who do you think's winning it?
I would
Abaddon?
say yeah. If Ruby's in it, you're never going to let that go now. I'm surprised Assad hasn't clipped that yet. Give it time. If Ruby's in it, yeah, I would say she has to win. But I mean, you could do Jade Cargill, but again, as I said, she's been ranked 5, so I think either way you get a title shot. Rosa is a potential, but I think they're waiting until next year to do something with her, so I don't think so. Maybe Anna J, because she came back on Dynamite, and you could maybe do something about that.
We Dark Order win.
Exactly. But yeah, I would say probably either Ruby Riott or Jade Cargill is probably the dead set. The winner gets a world title shot. So either way, whoever wins, I don't think they beat Brett.
Who would you, if you had to go out for Halloween as an AEW wrestler, who would you go out as? Because I've got someone in mind that I think that you could do a good job with. But I'm
all right, okay, you go on, and then I'll base that off of.
I think you would be comfortable in an Evil Uno costume.
Well, it's just a big skin suit. It's just lycra. I wouldn't have
a skin suit, mask, and you just a wee straw for your iron brew. You'd be fine.
Nobody would know it was me. It's great. It's perfect. Aye, that would work. Evil Uno. I mean, who else is like masked in AEW? Serpentico? Oh no, that's Gary. Has to be. That's Gary's guy.
Yeah. I would go as Luther, get a bald cap.
See, now I've got the mental image of you and Gary in their gear. We have to make that a thing at some point. Oh, now that mental image. Christ. But yeah, I think Ruby Riott is pretty much a safe bet to win.
Ruby Soho.
I'm gonna get that so confused. Jon Moxley takes on Satoshi Kojima in the first normal singles match of the night. Have you seen a lot of Kojima?
None.
No.
Although I did fall in love with him immediately when he tweeted about bread.
That is the best part. Honestly, his Twitter is fantastic. Just talking about.
So is he just like mad for the bread? Is that like his thing?
It's his Twitter gimmick. He doesn't really mention it in like in actual like wrestling shows. He's just one of these old New Japan veterans, Japanese veterans. That's just.
Well, look, Jon Moxley's going to win this. There's no two ways about it. But let's branch out. What is your favorite type of bread?
Tiger bread's pretty good. I'm not really a bread aficionado. I think tiger bread is probably
Tiger bread is good. I like Hovis soft slice.
Oh, we're getting into specific brands.
Toasted with Lurpak. That's the way to go.
I can tell you've done this multiple times.
Yeah, I have. Although today I actually went for lunch today with Chris, and I got scrambled eggs from this place in Glasgow called the Single End, and they had a sourdough toasted with Lurpak. Oh my god! I mean, it's just you could just lie down and make love to it. It's so good. So I get why Kojima is all about the bread, but what's his like? Because he's old, right? He's like in his late 40s.
Like late 40s. Yeah, he's been around all the promotion. He's been like a big guy in All Japan.
He's been like an IWGP champ, right? Like,
yeah,
he's
one of the old veterans who, like, about a decade ago was like in the main event scene, but now he's just kind of a veteran who's around. I mean, he's great. He can still go and he can still pull it out, and I think his style will work well with Moxley's. But yeah, he's not like a Tanahashi, who a lot of people I think built up for.
Oh well, I mean, look, Moxley's got this in the bag. It's probably the most obvious result of the night.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's a certain title match later that I think would be slightly more obvious, but we'll get into that later.
True.
QT Marshall alongside Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto take on the debuting Paul White. His first match, I believe, in about a year and a half.
Take it back. The most obvious result of the night is obviously that Paul White is going to defeat QT Marshall. I mean, I still love that they got the guy who sang "Where" to do his theme song in AEW. Like, it's a bopper. It's good.
Oh, it's great.
It's a good tune. Obviously, Paul White's going to win.
See, I'm terrified now because they started that feud with Billy Gunn on Dynamite. Do they have Billy Gunn cost
people can make fun of that? I had a much better time watching Billy Gunn hit Big Show with a chair than I did watching Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy's mob fighting for the umpteenth time. This is the implosion of Shoguns, the tag team of 2001.
This is a feud made for you. No, I don't get that reference. I was 2 at the time of that. So, in case you haven't noticed, me and Kenny have very varying wrestling knowledge. Let's just point that out now. We're just gonna.
Yeah. I just like things that involve success and big names and stars, and you like. Is wanky pish fair? Or is that...
no, that's fair. No, I agree with that.
But that's fine. Like we meet in the middle. You know, we meet in the middle with certain things.
Well, until you get very angry about my lack of knowledge in certain things, but we'll skip over that.
I get more angry about your age, but you can't really.
I will make sure to mention it continually throughout the rest of this. Then.
Good.
Chris Jericho puts his career on the line against MJF. If he loses, he must retire from in-ring competition. I assume Jericho has to win this. There's no way he's retiring.
It's difficult because you kind of think, what else is there for Jericho to do in-ring in AEW?
True.
So maybe, but then, I mean, I can't imagine that he's going to... I don't feel like this match feels like... It doesn't feel as hot as I would imagine Jericho would want a final match to be. That he would
it feel hotter if they didn't have the Dynamite match a few weeks ago?
Maybe, but I think it's like, because, I mean, where are the Pinnacle? Where are the Inner Circle? They've kind of been left to the side. I just don't think that Jericho and MJF are great together doing promos, doing segments and doing vignettes, but I think when they actually get in the ring and it's just... Like, to me, this match should have all the bells and whistles that you've got available to you. Like, make it no DQ, make it a street fight, like, take shortcuts, have all the other guys interfering. Like, that's what I think would make it hotter. But I think just them having a one-on-one wrestling match, it's okay, but it's not...
Yeah.
You know, it could do with a zhuzh.
Like, the blood and guts and after... I mean, I think all the other single matches have just been normal straight matches. But yeah, it just feels odd that it's just another singles match. Granted, it has the stipulation. Still,
but yeah, I think Jericho ultimately will win, but I wouldn't be. I think this could be like, I'm not 100%. I wouldn't be 100% shocked if MJF did win, but I think Jericho winning is probably more obvious. I'm being Switzerland on this one.
See, my reason for thinking Jericho has to win is that he has the Fozzy tour coming up, and every Wednesday he has it booked off. So why would he be retiring if he then had every Dynamite? If it was every Rampage, then fair enough. But every Dynamite, that seems odd. I mean, I wouldn't be against MJF retiring Jericho. I think that would be... I mean, what better way to put somebody over than losing to him straight 4 times now? But
and Jericho could kind of be the manager of the Inner Circle, where he could kind of do all the stuff do all the talking, which he obviously is great at. So, but yeah, it's. I mean, I think the stipulation makes the match kind of interesting, more than if it was just a solo match. But I'm hoping that on the buy-in, you know, Tony Khan has approved it's going to be no DQ or something like. Add that in at the last minute.
Whilst we were discussing that, we did get a few little bits donations. 20 bits from Cats and Bourbon with no message, but thank you very much that. Gar Monroe with 300 bits asks, if we don't get Bryan Danielson, would you rather Adam Cole or a shock debut in the Iconics? I believe they're now called the Inspiration.
I think we are going to get Bryan Danielson, so I don't think I think we can relax that's going to happen. But at the same time, with Adam Cole, I was recording Original Recipe with Robert yesterday, and we did 2 parts, and in the second part's not come out yet. We were talking about Adam Cole, and I feel like Robert and I are kind of like, there's maybe something about Adam Cole that we don't get that everybody else seems to get.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he goes to AEW, I mean, there'll be more freedom for him to maybe be himself, or because you've followed more of Adam Cole outside of WWE than I have.
So I've been watching him since Ring of Honor, and he's more. I feel like WWE got to do some of his character stuff, but I feel like he kind of had to tether some of it in a little bit, and I feel like
he's got more.
I feel like he does have more. He had more definitely in Ring of Honor and in New Japan, so I feel like he does have more to give, especially given that he's done the Being the Elite stuff with the Young Bucks back in the day, so he's kind of familiar with all that.
And it feels like if we've got Bryan Danielson tonight, save Adam Cole for our Thrash on the 22nd. The big New York show. You want to do something cool in that. So I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
That's my hunch.
Gar Monroe also asked the standard fuck, marry, kill question. JR, Schiavone, Excalibur.
Oh, fuck.
That's a hell of a shag, marry, kill.
The difficulty is, there's a lot of difficulties to that question. I don't know what Excalibur looks like without the mask.
He's okay. He's not bad. To be fair, you're comparing him with JR and Schiavone, who aren't exactly lookers right now anymore. So
I would. You know what? I'd shag JR because I bet he's a gore. I bet he would. He'd be game for a good night. I would marry Schiavone because he's got a lot of Batman merch, and
he seems like a sweetheart as well.
Yeah, he's really funny. Like he's one of my favorite parts of Dynamite. Like, whenever Don Callis comes out and he's like, oh my God, here he is.
The segments with Brett as well.
The Brett stuff or MJ, like he's just, and what was it? There was a segment recently, I can't remember who it was, but he was in the ring and somebody was doing a promo, it was a heel, and like Schiavone's in the corner and he just starts going like, and just like being really expressive. So I would marry Tony Schiavone, and unfortunately, I would have to kill Excalibur, but it's nothing personal. It's just I don't have anything drawn me to him yet.
See, I feel like I'm going to be the exact opposite. I think I'd
shocker.
I think I'd shag Excalibur because I feel like him doing commentary. He I don't know. Maybe he'd bring some of that into the bedroom. I don't know. Marry Schiavone.
What is he? You think he's going to be pumping you and go? And it's actually got a 2 in his standard grades in French. Like what?
No, he does that shouty stuff. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That might be some people's thing.
So what we're breaking down here is that Ennis would like some shouty stuff from Excalibur. Look, I've heard a lot kinkier in my life. So
teach their own.
Fine. Here's the question though: if you are picking Excalibur, is he keeping the mask on?
Oh,
or do you want a reveal during?
The reveal during, I think you have to have the reveal during because there's the mystery involved in it.
Sure.
This is not the direction I was expecting this to go.
Well, you should have known who you've got on. It was always going to go in this direction.
True. Marry Schiavone, of course, because he seems lovely. And sadly, I'm going to have to kill JR. He's lovely, but I can't.
You don't even like him on WWE Dynamite?
Don't.
With the Big Show?
Every time he makes one of these mistakes on Dynamite, I'm like, do I tweet that? No, I think I'm okay. I'd rather not incite the internet. Let's go to...
Thanks for all the bits. I don't know what the bits mean, but thanks for giving us bits. What is a bit?
So it's like Twitch's equivalent of their donations. They can basically take a chunk out of donations. So 1 bit is 1 pence. So 300 bits.
So a donation is a bit.
Yes.
You would give bits.
So we have direct donations, which all the money goes to us. Bits it's split with Twitch, but obviously bits are easier to do. So it's 6.5 dozen really.
I should know this, but yeah.
You will forget in about a week's time, so it's fine. I'm glad we've established this on stream, so we can go back. I'm going to leave the last normal singles match on the card for obvious. So let's go to one of the title matches. Miro defends the TNT Championship against Eddie Kingston.
Do you know, it's funny, before, so when the match got announced, I was kind of like, okay, I'm not that fussed about it. And then when I interviewed Eddie Kingston this week, he kind of sold me on the match, and he was talking about how, like, he feels pressure with it, and that, like, in his mind, I mean, he did the whole, like, kayfabe thing of, like, yeah, I need to win, but then he also said, if I don't perform and make this good, why is Tony Khan going to want to put me in a pay-per-view again? So I like the idea, because there's so many competition for spots. So that's made me kind of think, you know, and Miro's not really had an opponent yet that's really been like killer. Like there's not really been that match for him yet. Yep. And then Eddie Kingston last night with the promo on Rampage, or Friday night, I thought he was great.
So
I mean, anytime that you can, you know, throw some shade on the fictional man that is God is always quite funny. So yeah, but I think Miro is going to win it. I can't see Kingston taking it off him, but I'm more excited about this match than I was a week ago. What do you think? Yeah, see,
the Rampage promo really sold me with Kingston. I wasn't sure about it beforehand, but Kingston just has a way with words to sell you on stuff. I would originally just said Miro wins. There's not really much chance, but on the contrary, what if Eddie gets close to winning, and then Lana makes her debut, helps Miro win, and then that sets up a rematch for Arthur Ashe, and Eddie Kingston wins the TNT title in New York in his hometown.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
I think that's. I think that you get the bigger reaction at that. You get the big title change, because I mean, you can also do maybe like Santana and Ortiz winning the titles in New York, but I feel like if the titles are going to tonight or whatever they're going to do tonight, then I feel like if the title is going to change, maybe Eddie Kingston's the best one.
Yeah, I think that's a good booking idea. Book it. Make it happen.
I'll give Tony Khan a little email.
I mean, there's not often I would agree with your booking ideas, given that this is one of pinnacle. Them. This is one of them. This is one of the rare times where it's like Trump and Kim Jong-un coming together.
Which one am I in that partnership?
Kim Jong-un.
Of course. Even if like they bring in Lana, I thought you would have been against bringing in Lana.
No, Lana as a character, as like a valet,
right?
I think she's like one of the best ever. Like I think she's great. I just think the thing with Lana is she's fine at wrestling,
right?
But she's great at being the valet character, and it's like I don't know why you wouldn't play to your. It's like, so when I was at What Culture, for example, they had they had asked me if I wanted to do backstage interviewing,
right?
And I just wasn't very good at it, and I was better at being like I was better at, either going out to the ring and speaking to somebody in front of the crowd, so I can kind of play off them a little bit. But like, Jen Louise, she does a great job at doing interviewing, and it's really difficult. And I just sort of knew this isn't really my strength. So I could do it and get by, but I'm not very good at it.
Yeah.
So play to what your strengths are. And Lana's strengths are she is a great valet. There's not a lot of them in wrestling just now. So, I hope you're right. I hope she does turn up tonight. I hope she's in Miro's corner. And I feel like, I know Tony Khan has said, we're playing the long game with Miro and we don't want to just make him a big name straight away. But like, I think that him having Lana is going to be a key to his long-term success.
And we've not had Lana as a valet for so long. Like, when was it Rusev Day the last time they were partnered up? That was like 3 years ago. Yeah. So, I mean, it's technically a fresh act. So you
Were you watching wrestling when Dolph Ziggler brought out a fish?
Oh, yes. That was like 6 months after I started. And somehow I stayed. So, I mean, if I can watch through that, I can watch through anything at this point. But yeah, that was a harrowing time.
So James Holder, who writes our articles at ITR Wrestling, and Sondra, who is on shift for social media, so she's like tweeting Raw and stuff. They're both like contractually obligated to watch Raw. Sondra's doing it at like a regular time. James is doing it at 1 a.m. And you've started voluntarily watching it with them.
See,
I mean, what sort of sadomasochistic
my logic is what little logic I have is, if I'm up for a pay-per-view on Sunday night and then I have to watch NXT and Dynamite on Tuesday, Wednesday, I may as well stay up and keep the sleeping pattern consistent. See, there's actual logic in it. I'm not watching I'm not watching Raw out of the goodness of my heart or anything, but it's on. I may as well see it, and then if it's crap, I'll just turn it off, which happens most times.
Have you got any tips for anyone who's watching it in the UK and who maybe loses the will to live about how to get through
it? No, just turn it off. that's all I've got. Good. Turn it off. That's what I usually do. Watch for the first 30 minutes, and then that's it. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks defend against the Lucha Brothers inside a steel cage. Interestingly, you seem thrilled about this. Did you enjoy their All Out match 2 years ago? Do you remember their All Out match 2 years ago?
I'm very aware I'm on video.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a portion of wrestling fans who love these teams and love this match combination, and I'm very happy that is being catered to.
Yeah. But
like, I know at one point there's going to be like a Canadian destroyer off the top of the cage and they're going to kick out, and there's going to be people who are like, oh my God, they kicked out. And I'm like, yeah, and it doesn't make any fucking sense.
See, I think it's different for me because since I started watching, like WWE and everyone have always established that only the finisher finishes, which is a dumb way of putting it, but that's how they put it off. So when I see stuff like Canadian Destroyers off the top of the cage, which should end the match, I am used to it and just let it go.
I guess what I mean though is that like there's just going to be what's going to happen is there's going to be so many kickouts of so many moves, and then for me anyway, it desensitizes me to what's going on. And this is not like an AEW hate thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, talk about torture. Adam Cole's takeover matches. I mean, that is, dear Lord, like. Because then, right, so here's like, so Adam Cole, right, wrestles for like 45 minutes against Johnny Gargano, or 45 minutes against Kyle O'Reilly, and all this stuff, right? But suddenly, at TakeOver 36, Kyle O'Reilly can pin Adam Cole in 3 minutes.
Yep.
Clean as a whistle.
It's the logic of 2 out of 3 falls matches. It always happens.
But just be more clever about it. So I really like... I love watching big names and big stars and people who are over in wrestling. And the Young Bucks and Penta and Phoenix are big stars. They're over, and the people are going to love it. I hope this goes on first, and we can get it out of the way. If this was, I think the key is if this was 15 minutes, I would be all over it, and I would be really a big fan of it. But it's going to go 25.
Yep.
And it's like, I mean, if this goes on at 3 a.m. I mean, short of developing a coke habit, I mean, how am I supposed to get through it? And I'm not straight edge because I do like a wee vodka, but I'm not turning to drugs to get through it. But I mean, what am I going to do? Maybe I should just take some Monster with me to just watch it.
Try it. And then do like a little stream afterwards and see how coherent you are.
No, do you remember that Royal Rumble stream? Or not stream, but when we recorded
the video. Oh god.
And some of my stuff had to be edited.
Yeah. Oh, one day we should just release the full cut of that on Patreon or something like that.
No, we should not.
The Patreon people can be trusted.
Do you know what happened to poor, what's his name? It's not Buddy Murphy anymore. Is it Buddy Matthews?
Buddy Matthews, yeah.
Yeah, so he had clearly Googled.
Oh, the chains thing. Yeah, I saw this.
What's the word?
Freedom, like, I think he
freedom, like freedom. And there was like two chains that were like, separated.
Yeah.
And then everyone was talking about, he's been really insensitive. He's been insensitive to slavery, and it's like,
no, he Googled it.
He clearly didn't mean it in that way whatsoever. And then he took it down and he apologized. And then it's like there's still people having a go at him. So if that's being picked up,
true,
then
that's a very fair point.
I'm happy to just stay in my lane. But I think the Young Bucks are going to retain the tag team titles here.
Okay.
I mean, I guess the thing is, I'm not really that excited at the prospect of Penta and Phoenix winning because what is the story?
They won a tournament. That's the Young Bucks are dicks. That's it. This is a problem, I think, with the AEW like title matches on pay-per-view in general. I feel like this Double or Nothing and to a degree Revolution had the issue. Like the world title match at Double or Nothing. What was the story of that? That was Pac and Orange Cassidy got in last minute 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
That was it. I feel like they've had this issue with world title matches a lot recently, but yeah, there's not really a huge story to it.
Yeah, I feel like if there was more story, that I would be more invested in it. But there's not really a story, so it's purely going to be based on the in-ring stuff, and I don't think the match is going to be for me. But I'm not one of those people who's like, it shouldn't happen. They should fucking be fired. I'm not.
No,
it's just it's not my jam. You know, like some people like Brussels sprouts. I don't.
And the Lucha Bros are the Brussels sprouts of AEW. That's
no. I actually do. I like the Lucha Bros. Mm-hmm. I well, not. I'm not. I don't dislike anybody because we're on video, so I love everybody. I like the Lucha Brothers. And that's the end. That's
it. See, I would have agreed with you and said the Young Bucks were going to retain up until this week, and then they had the segment at the end of Dynamite where the Young Bucks beat Phoenix, pinned him, I believe, and then they had that beatdown where they kept super kicking them, super kicked Christian, which makes sense with even then the Christian thing. But it just felt weird to me have this big beatdown, and then the Young Bucks just beat them again in the pay-per-view. That's not usually how wrestling logic works.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Lucha Brothers. I guess it's like I would have imagined that when the Young Bucks, who are they're heels now, they're on the dark side, they're running roughshod all over the place, that when they would finally get beaten for these tag titles, that it would be like the culmination of like a story.
Yeah,
and winning a tournament 2 weeks before, and then having a beatdown in the go home show, it's fine. But like, I mean, look. The thing is, if the Lucha Brothers win, the crowd are going to go crazy. So it's like the Jim Cornette philosophy of like when he was talking about the Attitude Era, and he was like, they could have fucked a donkey in the ring. People would have cheered. So like, I think people are going to just like go for it, whatever happens. But I would like the Lucha Brothers to win if you are asking for my choice. But I think it's going to be the Young Bucks. Yeah,
sure. AEW Women's World Championship match. Britt Baker defends against. This match feels like an odd one out to me. I mean, you've got like some weird ones like Paul White versus QT, which you can establish is Paul White's debut. Fair enough. But this just feels like such a so much smaller than this show. This show's massive, and it's got like Jericho versus MJF and all that, and then Chris Statlander challenging. It just feels off to me.
I think it goes down to the. Like, I mean, well, do you think Britt Baker, because I know there's the idea that she's like a tweener. She's a heel sometimes, she's babyface other times. Do you see her that way? Would you rather she was one or the other?
At this point, I'd rather they just turn her face. I get what they're doing with her being a tweener, because I think she's better as a heel, but she gets such a face reaction at that point.
Like, there's no way people are going to cheer Chris Statlander over. It's like,
you saw what happened with Red Velvet. Red Velvet got booed out the building.
Yeah, well, who are you going to cheer? Are you going to cheer the cool woman with glitter on who would probably take you for shots, or are you going to cheer the Poundland alien?
I'm never going to get that out of my head now. Poundland alien, that's what she is now. Oh.
It's like, oh, mum, I need to go to school tomorrow as an alien. All right, we'll go to Poundland. We'll see if we can get you. Right. So there's a wee bikini, a wee green bikini. Put that on you. Well, there's some face paint. We'll get you that. Oh, there's a wee bit of glitter you can put in your eye there. There you go. Done.
We were talking about earlier about Halloween costumes that I would go as. Chris Statlander would be an odd one. Can you imagine me with the Chris Statlander get up?
You're putting a lot of yourself out there. I didn't see us getting into you going into drag before the end of this. But sure, look, I think you could put that together for about £6. So
exactly, it's cheap. Exactly.
I'm getting the bald cap that I'm going to need to buy off Amazon for Luther's going to cost me £6 alone.
Exactly. I'm thinking financially.
Yeah, you're thinking financial.
Exactly.
You would never do it. You would never in a million years.
Not even for like one of these like, we've reached X amount of followers on Twitter. That's not happening. Just establishing that now. Liam, if you're watching, that is not happening.
What are you going to do for 30,000 Twitter followers?
We don't know yet. See, this is the thing.
I've got an idea.
Okay, on you go.
I think for the 30,000 followers, you should do the one chip challenge.
Well, what's that?
It's like they do it on Hot Ones, where it's the
See,
one...
that involves watching stuff of pop culture. I don't really do
okay,
that.
so basically there's this like one big crisp.
Right, okay.
You have to eat. And then what's good about it is if you and Liam do it, is how they play it as sometimes like who cannot have a drink after it for the longest time.
No.
So I think the two you should do the one chip challenge, and then we'll even buy a backup one because Liam, 5 minutes in for a wee £5 donation, he'll do another one, and then he'll end up in hospital. So
one of us is going to die doing one of these challenges. This is the thing. But it'll be worth it. It'll get us some great views. It's worth it.
30,000.
So
where are we at just now? Actually, let's have a look.
I think we're on 22.
21.4. So we've got 8.6 to go.
Oh, I think we've got a couple of months to prepare. Then I think we're fine. Just hope AEW don't retweet us and get a bunch of followers again. CM Punk makes his in-ring return for the first time in 7 years when he takes on Darby Allin. Before we get into the actual match, does this main event over Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage?
I don't think it will.
Right.
I will explain why during Omega and Christian. But I think this will go on. I think they should put this on second last. Like, don't. So you don't want to put this on and then bring out the Poundland Alien to face Britt Baker. Like, it's not fair. No. So build up to it. I think it's going to be the match of the night for me anyway. I think CM Punk is going to really put Darby Allin over.
Yeah, and he's going to surprise people because I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh, is he as good as he once was?" But we've seen it with like Christian and Edge and all that. They're as good as they were when they left. So.
He's not coming back, and when you see him, when you can see how emotional he's got in all of his appearances, he's not coming back to then just half-arse it. Yeah. So I think he's going to win, obviously.
Yeah. Darby doesn't need the win.
No, but I think he's going to get the win. I think it will be the match of the night. I think that it will be a really good first win for him. But like Darby is someone who throughout his AEW run has always seemed to get over in losses. Like his loss to Cody, he got over a lot. Even the loss to Miro, he got over. Like he's got a thing that when he loses to somebody, people still want to see him more. They're
quite good at doing that with people. With like that Dante Martin a couple of weeks on Dynamite, even though he lost, they gave him a really, really good performance, and they're really good at putting over people who lose.
Personally, I would have rather had one of the Siddell brothers lose that one because I think Dante Martin has got more upside. But I take your point.
I agree. I think CM Punk needs to win this. Darby doesn't need the win. I think you could have Punk go on. Well, this is an interesting point. Where does Punk go on from here?
I feel like it's going to be. Well, this is why actually I think that the Bucks might retain, because I feel like Punk is going to end up facing the Bucks somehow, because he teased it when he was talking to Renee Paquette about who would he team up with to take on the Bucks, and then he just said, "What day does this go out?" And it was Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I mean, what a tease! What a tease!
But yes, I think that maybe he comes out on Dynamite on Wednesday and he's like happy that he's won, and then the Young Bucks come out and attack him, and that's kind of the beginning of it. He has to find a partner, and we've got because we assume that Kenny Omega is going to be otherwise occupied at full gear in November.
See, I think he maybe goes on to face someone like Jungle Boy. He teased that on Dark because he was on Dark last night, which is the weirdest sentence I've ever said. And he did a segment with Jurassic Express, and he was like, "I'm gonna kick your ass one day" to Jungle Boy, which got a huge reaction. I mean, Jungle Boy's gets he's similar to Darby in that way, where he gets a huge reaction from the crowd. So it's not as if they're gonna get one's gonna get a massive reaction over the other.
Yeah, no, I could see that being a TV match before they go on to the next pay-per-view, but I think this is going to be the match of the night. Yeah. And I think the test of how over Darby Allin is that I think even in Chicago, and the fact that they're going to see CM Punk as God, I think that they will still cheer Darby Allin as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Main event, or what we assume is the main event. Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Championship against the man who dethroned him of the Impact World Championship, Christian Cage. Omega has to win this, surely.
Yeah. You were right. This is probably the most obvious result. Props to AEW though, because when Adam Page asked for time off, and they went the Christian route, I think that was probably the best route to go down. Even though it's not the sexiest option, it's not the most exciting option, but I think that it was good. I think doing the title switch was really good because it kind of broke up the format of like how wrestling works, like because you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But I think that the sad thing for Christian is, even though he's going to probably get a really good match at Kenny Omega, I feel like we're all waiting for when Kenny Omega wins.
There's something that's going to overshadow it. And I mean, to be fair, if anyone can follow up Darby versus CM Punk, because a lot of people have been worried, well, are the crowd going to be dead after CM Punk comes out? I mean, if anyone can turn them around, it's Kenny Omega and Christian Cage. But obviously, we have the certain debut, certain Daniel Bryan, that is meant to be happening tonight.
What song would you rather that Tony Khan bought for him?
What, Final Countdown or the...
Fight the Valkyries?
I think Fight of the Valkyries. I think I know some people know that he did Final Countdown, but I feel like it's more recognised Fight of the Valkyries. Final Countdown, you have to edit really weirdly to get. I would personally, I would love it to be Final Countdown, but I think Fight of the Valkyries is the better choice.
I want it to be Final Countdown because, really? Most people, I mean, I don't watch indie wrestling, so I have no attachment to sort of what he has done. But I think like people in the UK, I think this happened more in the UK than in America, but most people in the UK have been at some point out for New Year at a nightclub, and Final Countdown has come on before midnight for New Year. And it's a banger, it gets people buzzed, and I think that's the song to do. You are right, it's going to have to be a very clever edit of how they have it, so that I don't know how they're going to do that, but I think they will. I mean, because Moxley with Wild Thing, like I downloaded Wild Thing onto my Apple Music the other day, and it's great. It's so good, and I think that I think Final Countdown is a more of a banger, and that's
it's one of those songs that the crowd can sing along to more, like Judas and like Wild Thing. You have the crowd interaction with that. Whereas Fight of Valkyries, I mean, I suppose you could sing along to it, but I don't think it works the same.
Would you like to see the eventual mixed tag of Kenny Omega and Riho against Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella?
Are we going to get a repeat of Brie knocking somebody out? Because, no, I'm quite okay.
Have one time in it. You and your Twitter woke universe coming after her.
It's the only thing I can remember Brie Bella doing.
Do you tweet Seth Rollins about fucking breaking people's noses? No, I bet you don't. But Brie Bella she goes out there. She's a self-made woman. She didn't even get the tit implants. She's all natural, and she does one mistake, and everybody drags her over hot coals.
The internet dragging people over hot coals are one mistake? Never. They would never do that.
We don't know any that's happened to.
No, we don't. Oh, God. So I guess we're both assuming that after Omega retains, Bryan comes out and stares him down. You mentioned earlier that Omega's going to be preoccupied for Full Gear. You think that match is happening at Full Gear, Omega versus Bryan?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be? Yeah, but then I guess the difficulty is that if Punk was to try and get Bryan to team against the Young Bucks, and that you wouldn't really be able to do that as well. So,
see, I think if you want a really, really big match, you could maybe do it at Arthur Ashe. They've got 17,000 people. They'll probably have more people there than they would at Full Gear. And they have a tendency to put bigger stuff on TV than they do pay-per-views these days.
They do. I mean, yeah, it depends what you're going to do. I mean, I think the good thing for me is I'm someone who I prefer shorter Kenny Omega matches.
Yeah,
Shocker.
I get that.
Shocker. But
I'm surprised. So shocked.
So the Christian match he had on Rampage is like my favorite Kenny Omega match I've ever seen, because it was kind of,
it was paced really well, and it was
paced really well, measured, whatever.
Yep.
And I think that Christian is going to give him another really good match where there won't be the kind of, it won't get as kind of, I'm trying to be really diplomatic. It won't be as
long-winded,
stretched as a match that it sometimes can be.
Yeah.
And then I think Daniel Bryan will be even better. He'll be or Bryan Danielson. I need to stop saying Bryan.
I know Bryan, I'm going to get that so confused. It's terrible.
But I do think like he must be there because so many people have talked about it and teased it that like it's one of those things that if he's not there, people are going to be disappointed.
It's like Punk. It's been teased up so much. I mean, someone like Hiroshi Tanahashi, who people thought would maybe be there, him not being there is not a massive deal. But Daniel Bryan, I mean, they've built it up. They've teased it for months.
Yeah.
Punk basically confirmed it on TV a couple of weeks ago. I feel like you have to do it now.
Yeah, you do. Here's the question, though. So Bryan will probably debut. He'll come out and confront Omega. That'll be the end. Did they not say that Andrade is going to face a mystery opponent?
So they cancelled the match, and then on Twitter, Andrade said, put up a Twitter post that said Andrade versus question mark. It's funny you mentioned that, actually, because I was going to ask you about this. Do you think we get Andrade versus Bryan Danielson? Is that a potential?
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, I think the one thing that I'm hoping, because when people have come into AEW so far, they've not tended to go straight after the world title. And I feel like more people should go after the world title, because that should be like the main thing that you want.
The problem is as well with the rankings. That's the issue. They try to stick to the rankings, which is difficult with that. I know. I feel like if it's Bryan Danielson, you can get away with it. People will just accept that.
Yeah. I mean, can we not just have him do a gauntlet and win 10 matches and just say he's 10-0 and then he's...
That would work, actually. Well, if we're maybe going to do Bryan versus Andrade, could you maybe have Ric Flair debut with Andrade, manage him out, and then just bring out both of them? I feel like, I don't know, do they bring out Rick tonight, even if it's not? I mean, Andrade's technically not on the card, so how can you swap him in?
Well, you could save Rick for Arthur Ashe as well. So
True.
Doing something big in New York. I mean, this show with the CM Punk match and the big tag title match and the sort of furore over the main event and who's going to come out afterwards, I think they've got enough that, they don't need to do more.
No.
But it's exciting. It's very exciting, and I feel like AEW. I was talking to Finn, who obviously sometimes has his issues with AEW. He said this week that if with a CM Punk and Darby Allin match and a Christian Kenny Omega match and a Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson debut, this will probably be his favorite AEW pay-per-view to date.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's a lot of buzz. I mean, it's going to go on past 5 a.m. So let's just,
of course,
let's just
settle in.
Accept that it is. I mean, could they not just start it at 7 p.m.?
I know, midnight? I know. See, interestingly, when you mentioned Finn there, it's interesting because Dai has this similar point. Dai, who also does stuff with ITR. I don't think he'll mind me saying this. He wasn't a huge fan of AEW, and even CM Punk in general, he was a massive fan. But he watched CM Punk's debut on Rampage with us, and now he's committed. He watches at least every Punk segment. He's watched practically, I think, every Dynamite and Rampage since then. And he did not watch Dynamite in AEW before then. So that says something about the sort of momentum AEW has going.
Sometimes you just need something to click, and then, but I think the difference is, like with AEW, I think if you're someone who likes both, sometimes there can be a frustration that because the crowd are into everything, that like you can't criticize anything.
Yeah.
But the same, it's like when we did the interview with Cody for the Mac, and I mentioned that awful Dark Order punches.
Oh god, yeah, the Phantom punches, yeah,
or 2019, and then I mentioned the Revolution main event, and he was happy to kind of go, we dropped the ball there, whatever. So like, I don't think they're like adverse to being criticized, but I think that I think that's something that's probably put some people off AEW, is that like, it's this great alternative, but like, I mean, look at what they've done with Miro for the most part. Like, it's not exactly been groundbreaking stuff.
No, I mean, Miro when he started was bad. Like, I hated the video. Like, I love video games and stuff like that. I hated the video game stuff.
I love the Golden Girls, but it wouldn't be my fucking gimmick if I come into the wrestling. I'm not going to come out dressed as Blanche Devereaux. James Wilford sent me a clip on Twitter that Punk, after Rampage, was singing "Thank You for Being a Friend."
I heard about that, but I haven't seen it.
So that's
is it good?
Yeah, it's great. So I'm a big fan of that.
Now we've gone through the card, I do have a list of people. I mean, this show is teased like there's going to be loads of different surprises and stuff like that. So I've got a list of people here, and I'm going to go through them with you, and I want you to rapid fire answer. If you think they'll be on this show, if they'll debut, if not, how would you debut them? If not, when would you debut them? I've got a mixture of like debuts and returns here. First one's a fairly obvious one, Adam Cole.
No, Arthur Ashe Stadium, keep it for the big New York show.
Anthony Ogogo. Because I was thinking you could maybe put him in with a Paul White match and have
Yeah, because I forgot he's part of the Factory.
Mm-hmm. Which says it's a great sign for the Factory.
I mean, how many people does Paul White need to wrestle? Billy Gunn, the Gun Club, Aaron Solo, Nick Comoroto, QT, and then you want to bring in Anthony Ogogo. But maybe Anthony Ogogo comes in and like swerves and teams with the Big Show just for this feud, like to kind of back him up, because Anthony Ogogo being the heel kind of was like, if you want to make him this big British star, then maybe make him a babyface. So yeah, I mean, I don't think Anthony Ogogo is going to be in this show, but I think he will come back soon, and I would like to see him come back as a babyface and leave the Factory behind.
Kip Sabian.
No.
There was a report that he is in Chicago for All Out Weekend, so you never know.
I mean, I think the problem with Kip Sabian is he's not like, I don't see what he would like. So say he attacked Miro during the Kingston match. Yeah, I don't think people would be like, oh! No. You know, I don't think it would. I think you would almost be hurting him by putting him in a position.
They've put Penelope in the Hardy family office now, so he doesn't even have Penelope anymore. Well, unless he joins Hardy family office as well, in which case, I'm not a fan of the Hardy family office. I'll be honest.
Fine, let's break it down. What's wrong with Matt Hardy having a crew?
I don't. They're so bland. I think this is more like a faction issue.
No, Jack Evans. Mm-hmm. Jack Evans looks rough.
He does.
I mean, fuck me. That man's lived a life.
I've seen some of his stuff in his indies, and he was so good about a decade, 15 years ago. Now,
we were all good a decade ago, Ennis. We were all.
Well, I was 10. I was 10, so that was. Well, let's not go there. Let's not go there. No,
you're not 20.
21.
I thought you were born in 99.
Yeah. So my October next month, I'm 22.
Yeah, well, you're essentially 22. Don't be giving me that 21. You're essentially 22.
Okay, well, I was 12 10 years ago. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. Mm-hmm.
To the courts, it might. Anyway, but yeah, so I think who are we talking about? Hardy family office and the fact that you hate.
Yeah. I think it's more like a wider faction issue, because I find this with like Bullet Club and like most of the factions of AEW. I feel like it homogenizes everyone in the faction. All their individual personalities are gone, and then it just they all get absorbed into the group. I find that an issue with a lot of factions.
Yeah, I think the issue with the Hardy family office is that they don't really seem to all go together. Like, why are the party boys of the private party with a murderer in the butcher?
Yeah.
The bunny who at one point was trying to fucking scam QT Marshall for his credit cards.
And also was friends with Brandy Rhodes for like 2 months.
Was friends with Brandy. Then, what are they called? Angelico and Jack Evans.
Oh, the Hybrid 2.
Sure.
I mean, Angelico's really good. It's kind of a shame that he's been put with Jack Evans. I get why they put him with him, but I really like Angelico. And he's just
again, it's like it's not. I mean, I'm not saying every faction needs to have people who are similar, but like I don't know. It feels like a bit of a mishmash of people.
Dark Order's good at doing that. Dark Order, they feel like a cohesive unit, and they feel like they all have their own individual personalities. A lot of that is through like the BTE stuff, but I feel like that's not an issue with them.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Dark Order are better. But no Kip Sabian.
Bray Wyatt.
No, but I think if we will see him by the end of the year.
Yeah,
but he's gonna have to. I was talking to Robert about this. The thing that he's gonna have to come up with is that in every incarnation of Bray Wyatt, it always came down to the same thing. The gimmick is great and it never works in the ring, and then inevitably by the end we're all like, oh god. So how does he overcome that? But like, you know, there must be a way. I mean, I think he's too talented to not give a try to. What do you call him?
Yeah, because he can't even use Bray Wyatt now, so it'd be like Wyndham Rotunda, which I suppose could work, but yeah. I mean, the problem as well is that AEW is such an in-ring focused company, and Bray's good, but he was never amazing. So that issue,
just make him the leader of the Dark Order.
Yeah, true.
that's what he should do. And
I
then
mean, the thing is as well, they've brought Malachi Black in, who's doing this sort of creepy, like mythology-inspired stuff. Does that overshadow Bray and what he's
it could
doing?
do. Or do you kind of keep them separate for a while and you have, Wyndham Rotunda lead the Dark Order, and then eventually Malachi Black and him face off at some point. And but I mean, if they do come in, I would keep them apart like for a long time.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we're going to see Big Wyndham?
I don't know if he maybe goes to Impact or somewhere like. I feel like.
Oh God, Ennis, don't do that to him.
Well, look, you take him to Impact. He has the freedom of doing more interesting. I feel like he'd have slightly more freedom there with character-wise, and you can bring him in through to AEW through like Forbidden Door stuff if you really wanted to. So you get the best of both worlds, but then most of the time he's an Impact. So I mean, Braun's supposed to be going to Impact. So at this point, Impact's just
go to Impact, Braun. I don't care, but I would
thought you would have liked Braun.
I liked him before the choo-choo noises.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, he's not going to have them.
I did love that he dressed as a landscape gardener, though.
That's great. Listen, it's never going to be as bad as original Wyatt family Braun Strowman with the awful sheep mask. Oh
yeah, and the big kiddie face.
Buddy Matthews.
No, because he's going to Impact, right?
It was reported that, but I think Braun's more a certainty than he is. So I don't know.
I can't see him turning up tonight. I could see him turning up on a Dynamite or something, but I don't think that he's going to turn up on this show.
Well, that was my list. If anyone else has any other names in the chat that they want to suggest, let me know. But we will go through some of the questions that have been submitted. We've had a couple. Just whilst we were having a little discussion there was a subscription from Ben M2014. Thank you very much for that. No
Thanks, Ben.
Question or anything, though. Mind Raider asks what we think of the new NXT and if it will ultimately help or hurt them.
I'm so excited for the shit show that is upon us. I mean, so before you were doing Inside the Ropes stuff, did you watch NXT every week?
So from like 2015 to like 2015 to late 2016, I watched NXT every week. NXT is technically the reason I started watching. And then I kind of tuned out when like Bobby Roode and like Drew I tuned out then. I came back and I always watch the takeovers, but the weekly TV hasn't really grabbed me. In the last year or so, I hate the weekly TV. I'll be honest. It's so, oh god, it's just so.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to. I mean, not Sondra. I know Sondra loves it, but like most people I know just don't want to watch it. So it does need to change. The system's broken. Call-ups don't mean the way they used to. So they do need to change. Would I put Brother Love in charge of it? Probably not. But I'm willing to be open-minded about it. Before, I mean, what are the odds of its success? Good? No. But I'm trying to be. And look, do you know what I'm really happy about? No more fucking shouty music.
Oh no! I loved Poppy's theme. It was great.
No more. I like Poppy once in a while, but see every week just the shouty music, and it's like, no,
it gets
old.
Okay. I get that.
It gets old, and we've had it for about 3 years. So
I think the saving grace of this is going to be that NXT has a lot of strong characters, right? I mean, you've got guys like Cameron Grimes, the Indy Hartwell, Dexter Lumis stuff is quite interesting. Which I'm interested with how that wedding's going to go, because that wedding's now scheduled to happen on the start of the rebrand. So I think that's going to be a big indication of what direction they're going to go with this. If like
who's going to interfere in the wedding? Who's going to come out and spoil the wedding?
I know. I feel like when was the last wedding they did? Was that the Lana Bobby Lashley one?
Yeah, the Lana Lashley one.
Which went very well, very very well. But as long as I was
always like, why did they start a lesbian angle and then just be like, oh no, we can't do a lesbian angle? Like,
it's weird.
Surely you knew.
I mean, and Steph's constantly said the last like couple of years that she wants to include like LGBTQ like characters and storylines and stuff like that, and we've not really seen it. So it's odd. As long as we still have the takeover and stuff like that, I don't think they're going to be like the big, great match takeovers that we've had in the past. But I think as long as we still have the takeovers that people can tune in for, If the week, honestly, at this point, as long as like it's better than it was the last year, I'm up for it. If you talked to me a year ago, I would have been very against this. But at this point, the NXT, I don't like current NXT. I wish it could be old NXT, but it's not.
Yeah, the last time I watched a full episode of NXT was when the last week that Sandra and I used to review it on the main feed. Ever since then, I've only watched clips. So, but the one next week, I will watch.
Yeah,
like I will watch it to see what they're going to do.
I feel like you have to, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be as bad as people say it will be, but it's going to be a change and it's going to be a shift, and we're going to have to adjust to it. I'm going to butcher this name, so I apologise. Inlaketch 777. I think that's how you say that.
Inlaketch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Inlaketch 777.
I guess we talked about this earlier, but I don't know if they were here. Does Daniel Bryan show up, and when does he challenge Kenny Omega?
Yeah, I think he shows up tonight. I think that he will. But yeah, maybe he will challenge him for Arthur Ashe Stadium, and maybe Daniel Bryan beats him and wins the title, and Kenny Omega moves on to something else. I don't know. I mean, do you still want to see Kenny Omega as champion for a long time, or are you kind of ready for it to be over?
I want them to build up the Hangman story. My main worry right now is that they throw away the Hangman story to give it to Bryan or Punk, because I feel like that. To be fair though, it's
Paige, and we don't know the intricacies of it. Paige opted to take some time off.
Yeah.
So if you opt to take time off, then things have to move on, and it's like, I hope that it's still okay for him when he comes back in terms of the people still wanting that story. I'm sure it will be, but I think Bryan's going to challenge him pretty much straight away, and he should. Why would Bryan Danielson become
such a big star that you have to forgo the ranking system? You can't have him on Dark just beating random people.
And we will be allowed to do yes, won't we? WWE can't
I don't think they have it copied. I mean, they can't control cow chants, but I don't know if he'll encourage it, so to speak.
Because you won't remember this because you were a fetus, but the Dudley Boys, when they left WWE in 2005, WWE had basically bought the trademark to the Dudley Boys. They had to be called Team 3D.
Team 3D.
And then when they went to TNA, they couldn't say Devon get the tables. So they had to say Devon, and the crowd would chant.
The crowd did it.
So
I mean, I suppose you could probably, they're good enough that you could probably set up something else. I mean, you got the Eco Warrior thing over in a couple of months, and he pretty much killed the yes chance then. So I feel like even if we can't use the yes chance, he'll come up with something else, and people will still do the yes chance. So I think we're fine with that. But yeah, I think Bryan has to challenge Omega, whether it's Full Gear or Arthur Ashe. I feel like it's an inevitability. Punk you can wait on a little bit, but Bryan, I think you have to do it. UGSP22. I don't know if there's a better way to pronounce that. Yugsp? Sure. Asks, who do you think will be the next 3 AEW World Champions? So who beats Omega? Who beats them? Who beats them?
I think it would have been Paige, but I do feel like that's maybe going to change because I think it's going to be. I think Omega's going to lose it to Bryan.
Right.
Then I think Bryan's going to lose it to MJF. And then I think MJF is going to lose it to CM Punk.
Can you imagine the reaction to MJF beating Bryan Danielson? Oh, people will hate that.
And because then when Punk becomes the champion, Punk could then turn heel as champion. And then you could do Paige and Punk if you wanted to when Paige is back. Because, you could, imagine the promos of CM Punk being like, weren't you the drunk guy that used to hang around?
Oh, God, yeah. You can work that in.
Use the whole straight. So that's going to be my 3. I think I'm not as I'm sure people can imagine, I'm not as invested in Kenny Omega. So he kind of leaves my world title plans as soon as he's lost. But I thank you for your service. And, I'm sure you'll do fine.
I think the issue with this is that AEW tends to have really, really long title reigns. So if we're looking at the next 3 champions, in theory, the third champion would be 1.5, 2 years away. You kind of have to, we don't know who's exactly going to be around by that point. But if we're basing it off who's around right now, I think For me, I would like Hangman to still beat Kenny Omega. I even if that means Kenny Omega beats Bryan Danielson, I think then you go from there. I feel like having Omega beat Bryan Danielson, though, his first match, would give him so much strength to then that you could then transfer into Hangman. You have Hangman hold it for a while, and then you could maybe have Bryan beat him, and then from there do the same path as you. MJF then beats Bryan. I think that MJF beating Bryan. See what
he's done there? He's just taken my path and added a wee inroad at the beginning.
Slightly different. Yeah. I think that Bryan MJF beating Bryan idea is so good, and the reaction they'd get out of that is unbelievable.
And I hope that has made Ugspa 22 happy.
I mean, I feel like you need to have people like there's Jungle Boy, there's Moxley, there's so many people that you could potentially have come to, and then there's
Malachi
Forbidden
Black
Door
at some point.
Malachi Black, and there's the Forbidden Door. You could maybe have someone from another promotion win it if you really wanted to. I don't think.
If you say Moose, I'm gonna hang up this call.
Oh, I wish I'd come up with that. That'd have been so good. We're gonna see him in AEW one day. I hope you realise this.
Mate, he can barely be bothered to get through a media interview. He's going to travel to Jacksonville.
Well, that's
how do you feel, Moose, about I'll do a wee Gary Cassidy impression. Mm-hmm. How do you feel, Moose, about the Forbidden Door in AEW? Good. Stop the press. Fucking Moose, man. Good. One word, Moose. Anyway,
well, we don't have any more questions, so if any of the subscribers in chat wants to ask one very quickly, we shall do. In the meantime, you mentioned earlier about obviously you think Punk vs Allin will be your match of the night. There we've got Hulk there. Is the other Hulk broken there? Oh, is he?
The other Hulk, he's actually injured at the moment.
Is he?
We took him to Lust for his birthday, and we let him off the lead, and then he just, for whatever reason, thought he could jump over a wall to get down to the stones at the beach, cut his paw pad. So now he has a little moon boot on.
Oh,
which is a real shame. I did put a photo up on Instagram.
All right.
I don't know if photos on. Oh, that was the cover of issue 13.
I might be able to pull it up on the stream. Hang on.
Yeah, I did put a photo.
Let me see if I can pull it on the stream.
On my story of him with the moon boot on.
Let's see. It should do. Oh, I've just seen it. Oh, let me see if I can get this on stream. Hang on. This gives people time to ask some questions.
Here we go. Look at the technology that Innocent McVeigh is about to thrust upon you.
This last minute thing that I'm trying to do. Is anyone else chat? In the meantime, Liam has asked a question that I'm going to reword slightly. Who in the AEW locker room has big dick energy?
Britt Baker has big dick energy.
Of course.
Wardlow has big dick energy. Who else has big? Jungle Boy, actually. I think he has big dick energy because he's just like, nobody's that chilled unless they're very, very happy with themselves. I mean, I don't know where he puts it in his wee pants, but, there's, who else? Ortiz,
not Santana, Ortiz.
No. I wish Santana hadn't grown his hair. Can I just say that?
I tell you,
he looked so much better with the short hair. Now he's got the kind of scraggly hair.
Oh yeah.
Not a fan. I preferred when it was.
Hulk is incoming. Yes, he is. I'm just adding it now. There we go. There's
he's
Hulk.
Not feeling well.
Best way. There he is. Look at him. Wee boot on. How long do you have to keep that on for?
I can't.
Oh, you can't. Well, I can't.
I don't need to see it. I've seen it. As long as
you've got the visual image of it, the people can see it. Yeah.
Okay,
how long do you have to wear the wee boot for?
Well, I need to take him to the vet tomorrow. So I think he'll only wear it for a couple of days. It's more just like so that if he's walking about and any dirt gets in the cut, then the cut gets infected. So you just don't want that to happen. So he's got his wee moon boot on till he sees the vet in the morning. And hopefully a couple of days with the moon boot and then back to full fitness.
Oh, well. Ben M 2014, who subscribed earlier, asks, thoughts on the size and look of the cage used in AEW?
I like the cage. I think it looks good. It looks big. The cage has big
so
dick
much
energy.
Bigger. The cage
has big dick energy. But
it's
yeah,
so
no,
much bigger than
great.
the WWE cage. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It looks terrifying to jump off of, which scares me for Lucha Bros versus Young Bucks.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing is though that like they're not going to do Hell in a Cell, so they can have a bigger cage. They don't need to worry about. Somebody said something because you're smiling. I don't trust when you're
Gar Monroe asked an interesting question in chat that you will. I think you'll like the response to.
Right.
Would you rather watch a 5-minute Kelly match or the Bucks and Lucha Bros go for 20 minutes?
5-minute Kelly match.
Really?
Yeah, or easily, because it's just bad. It's just I'm just watching someone be very bad. Whereas the I think the Bucks and the Lucha Bros, I just know that what will happen is I'll because I always try and be like, okay, maybe this is the one for me, and then I watch it and I'm into bits of it, and then about halfway through, it just gets so false finishy that I just end up kind of desensitized, and so then I'm kind of like waiting for it to end, and that kind of ends up how I always seem to be in the second half of those matches. So I'm always just sitting there like. It's 3:30.
Oh, that's an early prediction. Come on, it's going to be at least 5 a.m.
Oh no, I mean that match might be on at 3:30.
Oh,
I don't mean it's gonna.
Well, you never know. It might go so long that it might end up at 5 a.m. We don't know.
What I've started doing now, and this is a sign how old I am. I've started taking naps on pay-per-view nights.
Oh like God!
Because you will look one day you will understand this.
We're going to see the slow progression, and it's going to be horrible.
There comes a day where you can't do the 5 a.m.s. It just becomes too difficult.
Yeah.
But, I mean, by that point, I'll be in a home, so it's not... we've got time.
Well, that is, I think, us for the night. We've gone about an hour and 20, so that should be good enough. You obviously mentioned there that Punk versus Allin. I nearly said Bucks versus Lucha Bros would be your favourite match. It will not be. Punk versus Allin will be your favourite match, but what do you think is going to be your favourite moment? Is it Bryan debuting or something else you think might happen in the show?
I think it's probably going to be CM Punk's entrance, where he's finally going to say it's clobbering time.
Because it's not sunk into me that he's actually back until I see him in the gear. Yeah. Until I see him in Ring of Tide, I don't believe
it. Because I love how he's kind of every time been like, it's not yet, and he's left it. But I just wanted a couple of plugs. Obviously,
of course.
The Almanac, the Wrestling Almanac is a great purchase, worth picking up.
There we go.
There we go. Look at that. Got to start making the fucking next one soon. We've got Inside the Ropes magazine. There we go. John Cena.
Got it all prepared.
Issue 12.
Beautiful.
It's actually our best selling copy so far in the shops. So that's great. And then this is not from me, but Steve Gunn got me this as a Christmas present, and I just really enjoy it. It's a Glow 2-pack of Debbie Egan and Ruth Wilder from the hit TV show Glow. So
interesting.
You can get that on Amazon. Anything else? Have I got anything else about? Oh, actually, I think I've shown this before, but I'm just going to show it again. Give me one second.
Sure. Have I got anything else to show, Miles? There's
I showed this on a YouTube thing ages ago.
Yes.
So basically, there's a story. Do you know the story about Hulk Hogan almost having the George Foreman grill?
Yes. Yeah.
So he was offered the grill, and he chose not to take it because they offered the grill to Hulk Hogan, and he turned it down in favor of something else. And George Foreman got the grill. Would you like to see what Hulk Hogan turned down the George Foreman grill for?
Please.
He turned it down so that he could produce, and this is a real thing, the Hulk Hogan Thunder Mixer.
What?
Now you can mix up your favorite recipes anywhere at any time in just seconds. It's so easy. The quickest and easiest way to mix. You can do diet shakes, health drinks, baby formula. It's got a photo in the back there of all the different drinks that you can do.
I mean, I've got to ask, have you used it?
Fuck no.
Oh, come on. You got to give us the test.
I mean, look at it though. It looks, this is the instructions. And yes, I did pay $20 for that. And I have it in my office, and I just kind of sit and look and go, You stupid bastard. Like, the George Foreman grill or the Thunder mixer. Like, everybody grills stuff. Nobody needs a Thunder mixer.
Oh, God.
One of his many problems.
Many. But that's the stream for the night. We have later tonight, Dean will be hosting the ITRK, but I believe he'll be playing some more Final Fantasy VII. That will be at 9 p.m. BST, which is 4 p.m. Eastern. I think that's the right.
4, yeah.
But
3 Central, 1 Pacific.
There we go.
What is it, Mountain Time?
Is that a thing? Where's Mountain Time?
Wyoming.
Oh, God. I don't know. When's 12 o'clock? Sure.
For all of our loyal followers and subscribers in Wyoming.
For all 4 of them. You can follow us on Twitter. Both of our ats are below our names. There's obviously the Paul White tour coming up. You can go to itrtext.com for that. Inside the Ropes magazine for the magazine. Asad's posting all the links in chat. But that will do us for tonight. Enjoy all out, guys. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll catch you for the next pre-show, hopefully for Extreme Rules. Then.
Bye, everybody.